Well, I'm George Hewitt. I've been playing about in boats most of my life. Dad was always sort of pottering about in boats. We had an old 27-foot Wyler from when I was quite young. We've done a lot of work on that, put timbers in it and things. And when we launched it, that sunk. That was a disaster, poor old boy. But he got over it and we got it afloat again and had this old single-cylinder petrol engine in it. That was the sort of start of boating for our family, really. And then we sort of went on from there. Dinghies, and I used to hire out dinghies on Blakeney Council when I was younger. And we got all sorts of rubbishy old dinghies and sort of fixed them up and got them going. And in those days, you just never worried about, liability or anything happening. You just put people in them, pushed them off, and away they went. And if they got back, they did. If they didn't, they walked back and said, we can't row back. That's impossible to row it back, and we're just going to get it. In any case, that's sort of the early days of boating. And as David said, whenever we went anywhere like Wells or Sheringham, Dad didn't like shopping much, so we always finished up on the prom and at the lifeboat house. And my age, these boats were the sort of the current boats at the time. When I was a youngster, these were boats on station. There was a single engine one like the Lucy Livers at Sheringham, the Forester Centenary, and at Wells there was the Cecil Pine. She was the very first one of these boats, which is a twin engine boat. We'd never seen twin screw boats in this harbour. We have two engines, one to break down and one still to go, was absolutely sort of amazing. And I'd always sort of thought after that, I'd love to have one of them. Twin screw Liverpool lifeboat, the be all and end all of boats. And I never could afford one. And I've been working most of my life, and sort of the hankering sort of disappeared for a long while until this one came along, which was derelict at Wells. This is much similar to the Lucy Livers. This is the twin engine version, a bit newer than the Lucy Livers. She was built in 1940 and this one was built in 1950 at Groves and Guttridge, same yard. That was what she looked like when I bought it. You can see where the stern had been cut off, and you can see the big wheelhouse which had been built, and all the engine canopy was missing, and the propellers were still in the tunnels underneath, but the rudders were behind the propellers at that time. And she was in a pretty poor state, but I have done a considerable amount of rebuilding on it. I haven't spent a fortune on it really. That's mostly time and labour.